Greetings. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Greetings. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. I think we are on. I think everything is, I'm not sure, but I'm going to check, make sure everything is on point. All right. Greetings, family. This is Professor Griff, and of course, y'all already know this. Not you should already know. Let me not say that. You're tuning in today to Professor Griff's The Masses right here on Black Power Media Reloaded. Black Power Media Reloaded. All right. Every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. And then I think we kind of come on TikTok Tuesdays and Thursdays if you're around. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure of the time that we come on, so we try to make it happen. All right. Today's subject, we're going to be talking about Lil Nas X, arrested and hospitalized. I'm trying to keep up with current events. It's a very difficult thing for me to do simply because a lot of these subjects are almost pretty much predictable. Yes, predictable. All right. And every now and then, let me just let everyone know, every now and then, there's going to be some technical difficulties because, you know, these people are hard at work behind the scenes. Hard at work behind the scenes. Hard at work. Hold on. Hard at work. And they're hard at work now, behind the scenes. All right. Hard at work behind the scenes. All right. All right. Like I said, it's almost predictable. So shout out to everyone that supports the platform. All right. We are going to be setting in motion once again the membership drive. We're actually going to do a membership drive. We're going to drive people to kind of sign up for the membership so that the other things that we need to discuss, when we need to discuss them in the classes that we need to have, you will be able to participate. All right. If not at a discounted rate, for free. The information was sent out last night. Only thing I ask and require is for you to meet me halfway. If I say you have to send me an email, I need to get you on the list to know whether or not you participated. Because if you're not, and I send out the link anyway, that's just a space that's being occupied and you're not there. All right. There's only 100 spaces available. All right. Shout out to everyone that participated in the Black Music Business 101 workshop last night. Shout out to everyone that participated in the Songwriters Workshop last Sunday. 2 weeks, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, we will be revisiting the Songwriters Workshop. The Songwriters Workshop. If you would like to participate in the Songwriters Workshop, just send me an email. All right, at the email that's in the chat, Serious Minds Info. All right, at gmail.com. All right, Serious Minds Info at gmail.com. All right, really appreciate everyone coming in on IG. Thank you all very much. All right, shout out to everyone that financially supports the platform. Really appreciate that. And it's a beautiful thing to know that there are people out there that want to see this information pushed forward. All right. So thank y'all very much. So we're going to be talking about the aspect of Lil Nas X's arrest, Lil Nas X hospitalized. And we want to talk about it in the context of fame. We want to talk about it in the context of mental illness, mental health. We want to talk about it in the context of what are those particular drugs that are on the street? What are those particular drugs that are put in those circles where the Lil Nas X's operate? What is it in reference to the pressure of the music industry? That if it's supposed to be that glamorous, all right? If it's supposed to be that glamorous, then why is it that we get people like Lil Nas X crashing out? All right. Are people dying to get in the music industry? And what do they mean when they have to break an artist, or you have to break into the music industry? All right. Anyway, shout out to Black History 101 Mobile Museum for this the monthly support. Alex Littlejohn. Hold on, let me find the other names that are escaping me right now. MC Janitorial Services, thank y'all very much. MC Janitorial Services. Hold on. Temple of Ma'at, Little Africa. All right, Temple of Ma'at. Thank you very much. Dynamic Heating and Air. All right. And there's a Woman of Wellness. I'm looking for the proper name. Dynamic Heating and Air again. I am looking for the Women of Wellness, and I cannot seem to find the Women of Wellness. All right, Gerald Coaxum, Quan, Johnny Taylor, of course, Little Goddess. All right, I'll circle back around. But anyway, thank y'all very much. If you would like to be a part of the membership, all right, we're going to do a membership drive. And we're going to start that membership drive today. Not on this broadcast, but a little bit later on. Hopefully you can join us. Tonight, I am actually hosting Writers Row right here on Black Power Media Reloaded, on the masses right here with Serious Minds RNTV. All right, let me play that commercial for you guys so you can kind of tune in tonight. All right.
Greetings and welcome to the Writers Row, where literary consciousness meets conversation. Every Monday night at 9 p.m. with your host, Professor Griff. This week, my guest, King Simon and Supreme Understanding. I want to see you guys in the house Monday night, 9 p.m. with Professor Griff on Writers Row.
All right, Writers Row. Simply, Writers Row is just simple, fam. It's not complicated. We have authors and writers on. All right. You could be a songwriter, you could be a poet, but mainly authors. Mainly if you've published a work, all right, and it's out there in the world somewhere. All right, whether it's an ebook or a physical book. All right, we want to host you and bring you on the platform to have this discussion. All right. My sister is coming on. Well, not my physical sister, but my sister is coming on next week. My sister Crystal is coming on. And the other author that's coming on, I'm not sure, but Crystal has a book called Reclaim Your Power. All right, Reclaim Your Power. That is next week. So tonight, 9 o'clock, King Simon and my good brother Supreme Understanding coming on. All right, let's dive into this subject, fam. Lil Nas X arrested. All right, Lil Nas X arrested and hospitalized. Hold on one second. So I'm sure if you haven't heard, you've heard by now. That Lil Nas X was seen roaming the streets of California in his tighty whities. I think I could say that. I'm not sure. Lil Nas X was arrested in Los Angeles on Thursday morning after locals spotted the rapper walking on the streets, disoriented. All right. Notice the wording, and I'm only reading from one article right now. I'll dive into a couple of other ones so we can cross-reference. Disoriented and in his underwear. I'm not sure if they were Fruit of the Looms or the other company. I'm not sure. According to the ABC7 Eyewitness News, all right, because allegedly, all right, I guess I should, someone said in order to you have to say allegedly and you have to say in my opinion, because people are actually getting sued from these YouTube posts and Facebook and all this other stuff. But I'm reading a news article. This is why I'm giving you the source. All right. The 26-year-old, whose legal name is Montero Lamar Hill, was taken into custody on suspicion of battery on a police officer and was hospitalized for a possible overdose. Okay. There's a lot to unpack, even in that one paragraph. All right. In that one, marinate on that, chew on that for a minute. And yeah, let's kind of unpack it. The idea now of breaking into the music industry, and they're letting you into those inner circles to a degree, not the inner circle, but one of the inner circles. And they allow you to have access. All right. They allow you to have access to other stars. They allow you to have access, and you enter into these particular circles. All right. There's a certain culture that comes along. You are actually, in those spaces now. All right. Well, what do you mean by that, Professor Griff? In those spaces. You heard Cat Williams talk about those spaces. We don't need to play dumb. You know what those spaces are. All right. They're not the elite. All right. But it's those spaces where drugs, designer drugs, where entertainers and high-profile people do not have to go out on the street corner, pull up in a dark alleyway, and some suspicious-looking character in a black hoodie walk over to the car and y'all make the transaction. It doesn't happen like that in these spaces. All right? In most cases, these spaces that these people operate in, there's no cell phones. All right? Although some of these things are being recorded, there's still no cell phones. So let's just look at the fact that he's operating in a space that most of us are not privy to operating in these spaces. So they said they spotted the rapper walking the streets kind of disoriented, right? What drug will do that to you 3, 4, 5 in the morning? And who else have we heard walking the streets of LA disoriented? It's happened to a few people that we've known to admire, love, honor, and respect. I don't know if I should mention any names, but y'all know those individuals that we're talking about. One of those individuals was roaming the streets of LA, yelling, "They're coming to get me, they're after me," yada, 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 and had to be hospitalized. One of those individuals kind of spazzed out and crashed out, and had to be hospitalized, sedated, and kind of, All right. So, job bad. I don't know what that means. You have to finish that sentence. I've never heard anything like that. Okay. All right. So then it also goes on to say, giving you his legal name. So now I guess you're making the connection of how they roll. All right. And he was taken into custody on suspicion. So suspicion of battery. Either it's battery or it's not. Either the body cam was on or it wasn't. So I'm not understanding what this is. But having to sit in a hospital, handcuffed to a bed and observed for 72 hours. Yeah. What drugs are they kind of calming him down from, or what are they pumping him up with? That's my Crystal Woods. Thank you very much. Should I have mentioned your full name, Crystal Woods? Crystal Woods, Reclaiming Your Power. We're going to be on Writer's Row. All right. Literary Consciousness. That's next Monday. Not this Monday, next Monday. I'm trying to see who I want to pair Crystal Woods up with. But anyway, check out her book, Reclaim Your Power. Anyway, so these are the questions that I have. So we've heard of other high-profile actors, entertainers, comedians, artists roaming the streets, disoriented. All right. Okay, so now what actually kind of drug do you have to be on in order to end up in that particular space? All right, hold on. Let me go here. It's kind of critical. Nope, we don't want that one. We don't want that one. We'll try this. Lil Nas X arrested and hospitalized after altercation with police. All right, we got that much. Let me exit out of here. Officers found the 26-year-old rapper walking on a normal, busy Ventura Boulevard in Studio City. I've been on that street many a times. In Studio City. Wow. Not in my underwear. No, let me correct that. Let me get that right. I was not walking the street in my tighty whities. Yeah, absolutely not. No. Shortly after 6 p.m., according to police spokesman Charles Miller. Some say that these are the kind of stunts these kind of characters pull. So they're saying his team was filming him. I'm not sure. Allegedly. All right. So this TMZ obtained this video footage of the incident that appears to show Lil Nas X wearing only underwear and cowboy boots and claiming he was going to a party. What kind of party are you going to in walking distance in Studio City, California, that you would only be wearing your underwear and cowboy boots? The two-time Grammy winner, whose real name is Montero Lamar Hill, was later booked on suspicion of misdemeanor battery after he was confronted by officers and charged at them, pardon me. So Lil Nas X charged at them. Miller said in a statement reported by the Associated Press. All right. Officers took the rapper into a hospital, first because they suspected a drug overdose. Miller said there was no further word on the condition, but he was released from the hospital and taken to jail after just a few hours. He was since been booked on suspicion of misdemeanor for obstructing an officer and was being held at Valley Jail in Van Nuys, near where the police found him. Lil Nas X gained fame after his track Old Town Road became a record-breaking #1 hit, staying at the #1 position for 19 weeks. He also had a success with his songs, including Baby and Montero, Call Me Baby, Call Me By Your Name. I'm not very familiar with that song, or yeah, I couldn't help but hear Old Town Road because it was playing everywhere you could possibly go. Not that I hang out in horse stables or even around cowboys, but you could not help but hear the song. All right. Okay. Wow. Okay. So yeah, this is where we are. All right. YouTube and other platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and all these people are cracking down. At this point, I would show a clip, but they're cracking down now on, and this is what do you call it? This is the Fair Use Act. I mean, you could use a portion of someone's material, clip or whatever, to kind of, support whatever that you're doing. So I guess they're cracking down now simply because the degree of censorship is being tightened. All right. They're tightening its grip on what you can and what you cannot say, what you can allude to. So can I allude, all right, without sounding accusatory from the lens that Professor Griff is viewing this through? It almost looks like MK Ultra. All right. Mind control experiments that the CIA were doing. It almost looks like MK Ultra. If you don't know what MK Ultra is, please look it up. Thank you very much, Luz. Luz. This almost looks like Manchurian Candidate. This almost looks like a few other things that we could kind of mention right now. And almost it looks like a publicity stunt. Thank you, Dora of L. Almost looks like, hey, I need to make headlines. My song is fading off the charts and I'm no longer popular. I've tried every trick in the book to stay on the charts. I've did everything known to artists in the music industry. I tried devil worship. I tried having sex with the devil and then bitch slapping the devil. I tried the gay routine. I tried acting like I was Homo sapien. I tried like I was homosexual. I was like multi-trans, whatever it is I could do. I dressed up in devil outfits and wedding dresses and fingernails and lipstick and eyeliner. I did backflips in the industry. I probably did everything there is to do to stay on top. Everything that would be expected for me to do for those people that handle me. I did everything I could do but show up at the Diddy party. No pun intended. And here I am a few years later, and I'm still failing. What is it about the industry that you're not grasping that I haven't said in my book, The Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop? You cannot sit here and tell me that Professor Griff was not correct in his assessment on the music industry. I had to pick up the microphone on that one because I was absolutely correct. All right. Black Dot was absolutely correct in his decoding of the music industry. All right. Thank you, baby girl. He tried being pregnant. What else did he try? He tried every ritual. All right. Thank you, Michelle. He tried every ritual. He tried everything that he could possibly try. Everything that he know that the ultimate brainwashed masses of the people would go for. All right. He did everything but speak in tongues. And I'm not sure if he did that, but yeah. I saw a few people decode some of his videos. I even seen last night, and I know I should have been getting some sleep, but I've seen last night white Christian preachers came out of him because he's Jesus on the damn cross. He was crucified. He did everything he could possibly do. All right. Shout out for my people from Brussels. What's good? The BDR in the building. I'm not doing a shameless plug for my own book, but I am. Because if you haven't read the book, you don't know what I'm talking about because we broke all of this stuff down. Prior to me, Black Dot, Panic, and a few other people broke it down. Let me see. All right. Dang, way in the other room. Anyway, one second. Sorry about that, fam. I did break it down in my book, The Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop. All right. Yeah, it was. I talked about it. I laid out the very thing that would start happening with these rappers and these, not MCs, but rappers that are manufactured and placed in the music industry, given carte blanche to run through the award shows and all of these kind of things, to do all the demonic things that they want to try to brainwash the people with. I'm trying to find the exact chapter. Secondary hip hop's COINTEL profiles, rap sheets, and the introduction to hip hop cops. Not that one. The Illuminati takeover of hip hop. All right. Page 64. All right. Pimps, preachers, politicians, pedophiles in the pulpit. Page 165. Hood treason, the pacify antidote, sold out at 10% off. I think that's it. The hip hop 10 commandments. All right. Hood treason, the pacify antidote, sold out at 10% off. The hip hop 10 commandments. All right. So if drugs are readily available, access to you running through the music industry is open to you. All right. You're only given a short window of time in the music industry. A lot of times, people that are in the music industry, a lot of artists, they don't have longevity. All right. You don't have longevity unless you do some of the things that will sustain your stay. Sustain your stay. Is that a double positive? It wasn't a double negative. Prolong your stay. Prolong your stay in the music industry. Excuse me, the English language is my third language, so I kind of wrestle with it sometimes. Just don't mind me. Anyway, I'm trying to find the page. Hold on. Wow. One chapter ends. Damn. I'm going to show y'all symbology in a minute where the very same thing that you're seeing Lil Nas X demonstrate and what you see in the music industry is right here in my book, Symbology. Hold on. In the sense of us kind of regurgitating the same thing that we already went over, everyone else just need to kind of keep up. So this one chapter ends with Nicki Minaj. We're wearing a dildo on stage. All right. And then at the bottom, the real Oprah Winfrey. All right. How they manufacture and make these people. And then we start talking about the whole idea of hold on. Next chapter opens up the 6th degree. All right. Hood treason, the pacify antidote, sold out at 10% off, certified Uncle Tom's. All right. The hip hop 10 commandments. Man. Kind of ugly. Shout out to Wise Intelligent. All right. All right. The hip hop 10 commandments. Hip hop's unspoken 10 commandments. Thou must, can y'all see this? Guess not. Hold on. Thou must diss black women. You are allowed to distinguish between bitches, hoes, and real sisters. Wow. Only during interviews when asked to clarify your statement. You must talk about beating a woman up at least once on your CD or your demo. So on at least 4, but no more than 5 single demos, you must talk about having rough and unprotected sex with women. And that brings us to the point of Atlanta, Georgia, being listed one of the top cities having the highest cases of AIDS as we speak right now. As we speak right now. All right. Commandment 2, thou must kill. You must lyrically take the life of at least one black person in order to secure a hit CD or a hit song. This law does not promote the physical killing of another person, but however, it is not against the law to assassinate another person on record that looks like you. You have to. All right. I know I'm looking like the old granddad sitting in the rocking chair reading to his grandchild, right? But don't worry about that. Commandment number 3, thou must talk about lusting after things that do not belong to you. You must have unusual cravings for things that do not belong to you. Your desire must be so strong that you are willing to uphold the 2nd commandment. All right. And the 2nd commandment is thou must kill. All right. Commandment Number 4, all right, thou must have a lot of sex. You must have no fewer than 3 songs on your CD or demo that promote sexual intercourse with one or more or a group of individuals. In your own time with your homies or just kind of like in your spare time. Doesn't matter. But you have to have these kind of songs on your CD, on your album. You cannot express a deep sense of love or marriage. That's a no-no. And if you are married, all right, you must discard your wedding band, all right, when you are in pursuit of these endeavors. All right, wedding band, vows, none of that stuff can enter into this realm. You cannot say I love you to your wife on your podcast or whatever. Yeah, you cannot uphold your marriage or do whatever. This is the 4th commandment. 4th hip-hop commandment. Should be rap commandment, not hip-hop. 5, thou must celebrate the drug culture. Even if you don't do drugs, you got to celebrate the drug culture on your album. Thou must condone and identify with the proliferation of drugs in the Black community. You have to do this. If you're going to sell some records, this is a must. If you're just tuning on or tuning in, this is Professor Griff on Black Power Media Reloaded. The name of the broadcast is On the Masses. We're talking about Lil Nas X arrested and hospitalized. I'm reading from my book, The Psychological Covert. The study of the psyche. Covert meaning hidden. War on higher infinite power healing our people. The psychological covert war on hip-hop. With an added chapter, the Illuminati's takeover of hip-hop. I started on page 174, and we're moving along very swiftly. All right, we're at Commandment 5. Commandment 5, thou must celebrate the drug culture. 6, thou must rarely talk about God and spirituality. Only when it comes to thanking God at the awards, when you get your reward, not your award, when you're rewarded by your handlers for a job well done, for keeping the Black community blind, deaf, dumb. And your children just kind of wallowing in the filth of your muck and mire, the lyrics that you put on your album. Anyway, commandment number 7, thou must promote capitalism. On no fewer than 4 singles or your demo or your records, you must talk about money as if it were a living, breathing thing. You must talk about making it, taking it, and loving it. You must throw it around, flaunt it, dress in it, have it coming from under your arms and coming out of your butt crack, whatever the hell you got to do, but you must promote, get money, get money. All right, you have to. That must be the theme, because it's about get money however you can get it. Going back to commandment number 2, yet again, thou must kill. It's all about the self. It's never about the group. It's never about moving the culture forward in a positive way. It's all about you getting yours, getting money, and setting the culture back. All right? Where was I at? Commandment number 8. Thou cannot have a sense of history. Never, ever, 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 ever refer to a historical event that may cause the consumer to think about his or her relationship to history. You cannot talk about history. You can't. It's just, you're breaking one of the commandments. You can't give a positive outtake or historical view of things to the customers, your clients, your audience, your fans. You cannot do that. You're breaking the rules. All right. You will not get airplay and you won't get access to the many stages that are set up for artists. All right. All right. Anyway, 9, pardon me. Or was I at 8? No, I'm at 9. 9, thou must not advocate. Thou art prohibited from advocacy of anything of social redeeming value, even if the artist have redeeming values in them, and we see it that you do. The Creator is not done with you. All right? You have redeeming values. You can be redeemed, but you can't talk about that on a song because you might let young shorties know that they have redeeming value. Then the system can't do what they want to with the shorty. All right? Then you're not going to get the reward, the trophy, the shows, the endorsements, the whatever, the sponsorship. All right? Your lyrics must reflect a detachment from social, political, and economic reality of your community. Your lyrics cannot occasionally ridicule people who march, protest, and advocate for social causes. Wow. Your lyrics can occasionally ridicule people who march, protest, and advocate for social causes. The consumer should never assume that thou read newspapers, magazines, or books. That should have been one of them. Thou shalt not read. Thou shalt not read. Commandment number 10. Thou must promote all things ghetto. Last but not least, I'm reading from my book, The Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop. Thou must promote all things ghetto. You must never define the word ghetto or discuss its creation or its origin or its true meaning. Don't discuss that. All right? Thou must uphold the principles and create a new creeds. You must lyrically create a fictional amount of ghetto living that inspires comradeship and a sense of pride among its residents. You have to glorify the ghetto. You have to wear it as a badge of honor. You have to brag about how many bodies you have as a female rapper. You have to brag about how many bodies you done laid out as a male rapper. You must mumble your way through your song so only those that are in your circle, in your people, in your hood, in your ghetto, in your sphere of influence can understand you, thus perpetuating the same madness over and over and over again as the body count on both sides rise. Death toll rises. And because they have put in hidden in plain sight in these music contracts now, insurance policies, in case your dumb ass die, they will benefit. Yes. Psychological covert war on hip hop. I not only spelled it out in that book, Black Dot spelled it out in his book, Hip Hop Decoded, and I also broke it down in my book, Symbology. I'm not going to go through a whole big thing with reading, but children are being groomed from a young age. All of y'all that have seen my talks and my lectures online, you are familiar with subliminal seduction, all right, and subliminal manipulation, all right, coming at children from a young age. When it's subliminal, it's subliminal. You understand what I'm saying? If you looked at SpongeBob SquarePants, let's do a taste test right now before we dive back into Lil Nas X being arrested and hospitalized. All right. Okay. Picture SpongeBob or SquarePants, whichever one. All right. Oh, Miss Taylor, Nubia, you have both of them. Thank you very much. All right. Look at his face, the square. What do you see? We're talking about subliminally now. Somebody put the answer in the chat. What do you see? SpongeBob SquarePants. Look him square in the face and tell me what you see. Pull it up on your computer, go to your phone, pull it up. And this will tell you on a subconscious level why Lil Nas X is walking down the street in his tighty whitey. Door of L? No. Absolutely incorrect answer. Thank you for the attempt, Dorval. No. Look at SpongeBob SquarePants. Look, don't look at it, look in it. Do I have to give this class again? I think I'm going to do a pop-up. BDR all the way from Brussels. Walaikum salam. Shout out to Professor. Still have pawns. You still got the pawns in the game joint. All right. Can anybody? Is somebody gonna give me the answer? How about someone on IG? Y'all have the answer? Thank you, Nostra Lo Corso. Thank you. He said it. The phallic symbol. All right. Where we at? Look close. Now, do you think a young 4, 5, 3-year-old can pick that up? No. What it does is it sits in the subconscious mind. And then that particular image being watched over and over and over every day, because children watch cartoons every day and they like to see the same ones. All right. And it gets implanted and wedged into the subconscious mind, and then it gets triggered. Tell me that's not the same thing you're seeing today, Lil Nas X walking through California. I could go over subliminal seduction and manipulation over and over and over. I laid this out in my lectures. I put it in the book. Here's too many examples in my book, Symbology. You could get both of these books at professorgriff.me, www.professorgriff.me. Get the book today. I'm not sure how many I have, but anyway, the book is called Symbology. This is book number 2 of the Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop, book 2. All right. The subtitle to this book is A Reference Book of Subliminal Seduction, Manipulation of Consciousness in a Cultural Retrograde. All right. I laid it out. And sometimes this is exhausting because I keep repeating the same things over and over to my generation, the one behind me, and now to the one after y'all. Get the information, fam. We put it in books because you don't read. Wait a minute. These are the easiest damn books to read. There are big ass pictures in the books, short paragraphs. How could you not get through this stuff on every page? It's short. All right. Someone sent me a message. I am going to do a pop-up. I'll let everyone know. And whoever comes to the pop-up with a minimal donation, I'll send y'all the ebook for free. How's that? Is that cool? We got a deal? Cool. All right. Back to Lil Nas X arrested and hospitalized. All right. I'm going to open up. Pardon me. I am going to open up for discussion for the few minutes we have left. Let's make it happen. All right. So, once again, Lil Nas X hospitalized and arrested. Yeah, it's a unfortunate. Yep. That we keep seeing this being played out over and over and over and over again. Can someone tell me what's happening with Ray J? I'm not throwing his name in the fray. I'm just concerned. I'm seeing some things that just don't sit right with my spirit. I've never met Ray J. Yeah, we've never been in the same room. Our paths never really crossed. while I'm waiting to see if anyone have any questions, I'll start answering the people in the chat so we can get through this broadcast. All right. Someone said, I wondered the same thing about Ray J. Okay. Okay. I'm talking deeper than him just trolling. I'm seeing something in him. I'm sure if y'all looking close enough, y'all see it also. Yeah. Okay. Once again, Lil Nas X was arrested in Los Angeles on Thursday after locals spotted him walking aimlessly through the streets in his tighty whities. All right. His underwear. All right. The 26-year-old was whose legal name is Montero Lamar Hill, was taken into custody on suspicion of battery on a police officer, and he was hospitalized. And they suspected an overdose. So there's a series of questions that come to mind when you say overdose to me. I don't know what comes to your mind. All right. Overdose of what? And I thought in certain parts of LA, like it is Atlanta, walking down the streets in your underwear and your cowboy boots is kind of normal. Not normal in the way that we see normal, but yeah, normal. I used to come out of my family's business bonding company right downtown, right around the corner from the jail. And seeing someone in their underwear and their cowboy boots and yeah, with wings and shit, that's kind of normal. Certain parts of San Francisco, that's normal. Certain parts of Chicago, that is normal. Certain parts of Atlanta, that is normal. Trust me. It's become the norm. Not normal, I should say. It's become the norm. All right? Good question, Maine. Street music. Did he overdose or was he drugged? Shout out to Main Street Music. Okay. Door of L said overdose usually means incapacitated. Being high is something totally different. Okay. What party were you going to and which one were you coming from? Didn't you talk about Lil Nas X when you talked about the future of hip hop? Talk about Lil Nas X in what kind of way? Future of hip hop? No. And are you defending him now? I don't even know what that means. Am I defending him now? How am I? Wow, that is interesting. Very. All right. We got to look that up. That is interesting. Just to set the record straight, because someone did put that in the chat, Lil Nas X is not hip hop. That's not hip hop. Lil Nas X is not hip hop. Anyone that truly knows hip hop knows that that's not hip hop. Thank you. Yeah, I seen the guy in Times Square playing the guitar in his underwear. Yeah. That's why I said it's the norm. Become the norm. What Lil Nas X is doing is not hip hop. So I'm like, maintain. I'm gonna have to hit you back. I'm live on my broadcast right now. I gotta hit you right back. All right. All right. All right. Salam. All right. Wow. Frankie Young said half the pills and powders out here laced with straight BS. You don't even know if it's fentanyl or some other poison. One hit and you gamble with your life. Wow. Man. All right. I think the whole thing with Nas X, no, Little Nas X. Let's get it right. All right. Don't do that to Nas. All right. It's a publicity stunt. He had stuffed bells. I can't read. Luz says hip hop stopped being hip hop when the first mainstream hip hop song came out. Well, Rapper's Delight was a mainstream song and it was hip hop, so we can't say that, Luz. All right. Okay, I'm not going to read that out loud because that's causing a lot of controversy. I'm not shying away from it, but yeah. Yeah. I think that's why he wanted to start going by his name, Montero, because I think that Nas had something to say. I don't do drugs. I never smoked weed in my life. But Alex Dwayne says, I'm not a weed smoker, but some people saying weed not hitting the same since they commercialized it. So I get previous comment sentiment. I wouldn't know. I never smoked weed in my life, so I don't know how it hits. I maybe need to ask a weed smoker. I'll try if I could find one. Do I know someone that smoked weed? Yeah, I know a few people. All right. This is Professor Griff, fam. And let me say this before we have to get off the air. Like, I don't know, man. It's critical. Woo! Okay. My book, The Birth, is out. The ebook is out and the audio book is out. Make sure you support your brother, Professor Griff, being the author that I am. All right. Hold on. The book, The Birth, is out. The birthing song of the Himba tribe by your brother, Professor Griff. All right. The ebook is out. The audio book is out. The Birth audio book. All right. And of course, you all already know I wrote a short story based on my book. Now you know the 5 elements of hip hop. Make sure you get that for your little ones, grandchildren, and or niece, nephew, cousins, country cousins, whomever. All right. Thanks to everyone for coming in the class last night. Music Business 101. All right. And I am doing this class, a songwriters class, over, not this week coming, weekend coming, next weekend, 2 weeks from now. All right. Okay. Let me say thank you to everybody. And of course, y'all.
Greetings and welcome to the Writer's Row, where literary consciousness meets conversation. Every Monday night at 9 p.m. with your host, Professor Griff. This week, my guest, King Simon and Supreme Understanding. I want to see you guys in the house Monday night, 9 p.m. with Professor Griff on Writer's Row.
All right. Writer's Row is actually popping off. Literary consciousness. All right. We are bringing the storytelling back, the poetry back, the poetry and the storytelling that means something to us, that can, tell us stories so we can pass these stories down to the little ones. Songwriting, we're bringing that back. What happened to the Harlem Renaissance, that era, the poetry, the writing, all right? Literary consciousness, we're bringing that back, and I'm helping to set that off with Writer's Row. We are highlighting authors, all right? I have 2 authors coming on tonight. Shout out to the first 2 authors, Black Dot, all right? My brother, Black Dot, and of course, Khalid El Hakim. All right, Black Dot and Khalid El Hakim was my first 2 authors last week. Let me show you their literary work in case you are not familiar with their work. This is Khalid El Hakim's work, A Legacy in Motion, celebrating 30 years of the Black History 101 Mobile Museum. Khalid El Hakim, PhD. And let me snatch up Black Dot's book. I keep it in safekeeping over here. All right. Keep it in safekeeping so a lot of us cannot. People coming to visit, stopping through studio sessions, y'all can't just access Black Dot's book. All right, Black Dot's book is just, and the way he presents it, limited edition. Of course, y'all already know. All right.
Please, Professor Griff, my brother, and I mean that. I don't just say that. You are my brother, and you were the first one to come and recognize my body of work and put me in front of audiences because my message needed to be heard.
All right. Now his book.
I will never, ever forget that. I will never forget you taking pay cuts to make sure I had some money in my pocket. I will never forget you blocking people.
All right. The Hero's Journey. Gotta laugh to keep from crying. I didn't start living until I thought I was dying. Black Dot. My first 2 authors, man. All right. I've been soldiering and traveling with these 2 brothers. All right. Raising a vibrational pitch of our thinking into the mind of God with these 2 brothers right here. Raising our vibrational pitch. We can vibrate higher to the higher self and operate from the higher self. Let's do that. But we have to read. We have to tell our story. This is Professor Griff. I'm just doing my part. All right. All right. Thank you. Anyway, I got to go. It's 1 o'clock. I promised Kalanji I'd be off. All right. Really appreciate y'all. All right. Take care, fam. Daryl, you see what I'm doing here, right? My brother D, the barber. I in the ATL. All right. Crafting jewelry now. All right. Love y'all to life. This is Professor Griff. I got to go, fam. Peace. Greetings, family. This is Professor Griff, and this is the Serious Minds Brain Tonic. The Serious Minds Brain Tonic was created to sharpen the mind by protecting the cells and increasing the neurotransmitters associated with learning and memory. You can order the Serious Minds Brain Tonic right here on www.debbiestrywellness.com and or text me 678-557-2919. Peace.
Greetings, family. This is Professor Griff. I want to take this moment to thank everyone for supporting me in my efforts to raise the vibratory pitch of your thinking into your higher self. Thank you very much in my efforts right here on Serious Minds RNTV and Arm the Masses. All power to all the people. Thank you very much. If you would like to continue supporting. And if you are a new listener, please support by giving your donations right here on my Cash App, $ Professor Griff, and or go to www.professorgriff.me. Thank you very much. Peace. All power, all the people.
All right, peace, fam.